This video is a deep dive into the capabilities and functionality of Code Navigator, including an in-depth look at our AI-powered subject matter expert.
What the product does for those who have a strategy to either retain things on the mainframe or rewrite, it gives you an option to create a deep knowledge base and allows you to query on that knowledge base. And that query is no ordinary query. It's better than any human expert would do it because the deep knowledge base is created for your legacy system. And that deep knowledge base is presented to an AI to answer anything, any aggregation, any kind of query that you wanted. And the amount of knowledge it has is vast and very comprehensive and accurate. So what you're seeing is the Code Navigator, which is on your premises. So you never have to worry about the security. Whatever the knowledge base or learning happens inside your premises. If you see on the right of this Code Navigator is a graphic user interface that shows your journey through various phases of your modernization. And on the left is an AI chatbot that is optional. You can activate it, deactivate it. If you activate it, it really starts picking up after the knowledge base has been built. In the current demo, we haven't built the knowledge base. That's why it remains deactivated. First thing is how you collect your artifacts on the mainframe. And as you know, the mainframe artifacts are in episodic format. There are many programmers who have a hard-coded hexadecimal values inside their program, compiler options, and other little tiny details. And if you do not extract it right, the knowledge base will not be accurate. We wanted to make sure that the knowledge base that CloudFrame Code Navigator is going to create is accurate. We also help you guide through getting your artifacts. You can tell us where your JCL datasets are, where your procedures are, control cards are, compiler listing, and it will generate an extract JCL for you. That extract JCL, you can give it to the person who's your mainframe expert, and that person can go to mainframe, run the JCL, and extract the artifacts and bring it back for you. Optionally, you can deploy a CloudFrame component, or we can provide you additional means to extract an automation from mainframe. But right now, the easiest way is to generate a JCL and give it to your mainframe person. That artifact comes in binary format. For this demo, I already have artifacts. So I'm going to go through that artifacts that are downloaded from mainframe. So I'll click on Upload Artifacts button, where I will intentionally upload not all artifacts. That means in order to run through a complete analysis, it needs to know a full picture. Program calling another program, a JCL calling a program, JCL needing a PROC, PROC needing a control card. Everything is required in order for it to do a complete readiness assessment. I'm going to click on Attach and go to my Code Navigator files. I have COBOL compiler listing, PROCs, JCL, and control card. You might ask, why not COBOL source and copybook and deculgence and everything else instead of compiler listing? And the reason for it is even a tiny differences in your compiler option can influence the way your code gets generated and the calculations, the numeric calculations that are done. In order for Code Navigator to do a correct analysis and create a right knowledge base, needs to know a full picture. And the easiest way for you to provide us the COBOL compiler listing, and it will be able to get you the right knowledge base. Now here I will intentionally miss out the PROCs, because unless a JCL calls a PROC and unless you provide a PROC, you'll not know full picture. And in the PROC, you will then find out you also need control cards. So what is it going to do is going to create a wizard for you and make sure that you have all the artifacts successfully validated and analyzed. And if anything is missing, it's going to do multiple passes to figure out all the dependencies, all the patterns, any refactoring that's needed, any tech debt that needs to be removed, and any future help with your modernization and rewrite. So right now it's going to go through and analyze entire artifacts. And that's part of your readiness check. It will clearly figure it out that something is missing, and it gives you a warning. And there are a couple of options. Sometimes you genuinely want to ignore the things that are missing because you might handle them manually. You may rewrite it. In this case, it found out the PROC is missing, and the PROC is used by about 16 JCLs. You can ignore it, which obviously not going to do the complete analysis, but then it still allow you to manually rewrite certain portion of it when you're doing a rewrite. But instead of just bringing a PROC, which I know is going to have a missing artifacts for the control card, I'm going to bring everything that's needed in order to do the analysis. I will upload the PROC and I will upload the control cards. Do a quick validation. And after validation, I'm going to send it to the server. And the server is now going to do a full-blown analysis of this system, tell you whether you're ready for modernization or not, or if anything else is missing. And this wizard will keep on going. It's a guided journey. Once it has done the analysis, it will build a knowledge base. It will also figure out all the business rules, the data flow diagram, the logics, the sequential diagrams, every little tiny details, and present it to the AI plugin. If you notice, all of a sudden the AI plugin realized the knowledge base is ready, and you can pretty much query anything to the AI base. Found out that you had 20 JCLs, 11 listings, 1 PROC, 22 control cards, number of lines, number of comments, number of SQLs. You're pretty much ready to do the full modernization. It will take about an hour or so, depending on the size of the server, to do the full code transformation. It can figure out every complicated JCLs, any number of steps, any number of IBM third-party utilities, etc. In this example, I have a very simple JCL, a job that calls just one step. A step calls a single program that calls 3 different programs, subprograms. But you can have a lot more complicated than that. A program inside a program and everything else. It has a unique algorithm to also figure out many of the dynamically called program unless there is a data dependency. It will obviously find out multi-step JCLs, all the complicated things, figure out what type of language they are using. Is it COBOL? Is it EasyTree? Is it assembler, PL1? Are they using CICS, MQ? Just a quick overview of the program, how many lines they have, comment lines, SQL code. Figure out what are the files used. What files are they? Are they input? Are they output? Are they VSAM? Are they fixed blocks, variable blocks? Also figure out the database CRUD metrics. So on the column, left side is your database tables. And the right top row shows the programs, various programs that it found in the artifacts you provided. And each one of those programs, are they reading the database, updating, delete, the entire CRUD operation? Cyclomatic complexity of each one of those programs. Are there any CICS? Are there any MQs? But most importantly, since this knowledge base is built, you can also ask AI any type of questions, pretty much as if a human expert would answer. In fact, better than human expert would answer. So for example, I say, give me the top 3 most complex programs. It will go look at the knowledge base, and AI will accurately identify 3 programs that are the most complex. Or you say, list the programs that delete rows from table, TV, TRD, STQ. If you look at in the CRUD diagram we showed you earlier, we had a table here called TV, TRD, STQ. We're trying to figure out which are the program that's going to delete it. AI will accurately identify what are the programs that are being used. And more importantly, you can also describe the logic of any of the program in as many words you want. So you say, describe the logic for program TRD PB 000 in 50 words or less. It's going to go back, figure out the business rules, take the logic, and explain it to you that this program does order validation by matching buy and sell currency orders, type of currency, completes the settlement once the trades are matched. You can also ask AI any type of question. For example, explain me how I could convert it to microservices, segregate it, find the patterns. The type of question you can ask is endless, and it has a very accurate knowledge base and very deep knowledge base. It's better than a human expert would be able to answer you if you already have it. But many organizations have lost their SMEs. They're gone, they moved on, they got promoted. They don't have the knowledge of their legacy system. This is a great place to start with. You can also look at the View Smart Doc, where it will document every one of those business rules, give you the diagrams for each one of those business rules. It can rewrite your COBOL program by adding the documentation in one of those programs. It can figure out the tech debt, for example, the unreachable paragraphs, unreachable unused variables, backward go-tos, any of the tech debt and efficiency it founds. It can, if you click on a button, it can rewrite your COBOL program, make it better. So it has a lot of feature for the people who want to stay on the mainframe, or even for the people who want to rewrite everything. The AI assistant is going to be really helpful for them to do an in-depth analysis and ask any question or any type of traps they might get into. But for those who wants to re-platform, it gives you 100% with guaranteed functional equivalence, a Java code. For example, I can take a program TRD. There is a program called CF Books, which uses a JCL called CF Books J. If I look at the call chain, this is how it works. It uses a VSAM file. It uses an IDCAM utilities, runs the program. So I'm going to pick that program and click on the transformation of that program. It will allow me to convert that into a full Spring Boot or Spring Batch packages. Because this is a JCL, this is going to be a Spring Batch. That's out of box. I can also enhance it, allow it to do certain things, allow certain rules which my administrator allows, and rewrite this program to my environment. Most importantly, once you have done everything, you can test it. And the testing is an important part of the equation. It has already generated JUnit test cases for you. But more importantly, you can actually run this program on a mainframe and validate your results. So you can decide to run locally on your desktop using an IDE like IntelliJ, Visual Studio, or Eclipse, or you can ask to run it on a server, depending on how big your files are. Usually we recommend if your file sizes are less than 5 or 10 megabytes, you can run it on the server. You can run it locally. It can also tell you what are the files needed in order to run it. So in this case, in order to run this program, you need these two input files. They have not been downloaded from mainframe. It will generate one output file. And as you can see, you can ask your mainframe person to download those files. It can create a JCL for mainframe person to bring those files. So we prefer that you not only bring your input file, but also run this program on the mainframe, bring your output file, because then it can do a validation for you, whether your Java run produces the exact same results or not. But in this case, I decide to run it local. I can click on upload the files and compare. I already have those files brought in from the mainframe. I will pick the file with .mf extension that came from mainframe. And I have intentionally tempered a file. My Java run gives me 100% accurate file, but I intentionally manipulated it just to show you as part of the demo. When I click open, it immediately finds out there is a functional equivalence fail. If you click on the view file, on the left side, you're going to see your mainframe output. Right side, you're going to see a Java output. In this case, there is a books report that got generated. And it shows you somebody either tempered it or maybe the Java generated the wrong output for whatever reason. It will show you the differences in the files. And we will give you a Java trace agent that will help you validate why something went wrong. And if you see here in the dashboard, your validation has failed. So now every job that you're converting, you can quickly see where validation worked, where it failed, where you need attention. Just helps your project and program manager to look at it and see what needs to be done. It just helps you in your end-to-end journey. But in reality, I know my files I ran on Java, they matched. So I'm going to show you that part as well. It immediately compared the two files and say everything match. You look at the files, the same file left on mainframe left, Java right, everything matched. There is no red, there is no green. And you see the validation has now matched. At this point, you can go ahead and deploy your software. We give you a few options to deploy it. When you click on a deployed job, you can deploy it on a GitHub, Bitbucket, GitLab, or any customized version inside your environment, which will require a one-time customization. And I can go ahead and say deploy, but I want to deploy this on a GitHub repo. I already have a repository, and I can just click on deploy. It's going to go back, establish a connection, and commit my code into my repository. If there is any pipeline, standard pipeline that needs to be triggered will be triggered by GitHub. And you have an end-to-end fully deployed code. And Code Navigator is giving you a journey from start to finish, whether you want to retain your application on mainframe, whether you want to re-platform it as a Java, or whether you want to rewrite it. It will give you a best of all solution.